Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Happy Friday, everybody, as we remain here in Phoenix, Arizona at Radio Row as Super Bowl Sunday is almost here. Justin Fields made the rounds yesterday. We tried to get him on the show, but he was a busy man as he hopped on several other programs. Do want to react to some of the stuff he talked about. But before we get into that, Bears Now, we crossed 60,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of you for helping us reach that milestone. We made it. You know what that means? A live fan-led mock draft on Tuesday. So join us, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central Time. Myself, producer Jack, will be hanging out with us, and you guys will make the picks on our next mock draft this Tuesday. Appreciate you guys for helping us reach 60K, and if you haven't joined the movement, hit that sub button. All right, Justin Fields opened up and was kind of peppered with a lot of questions by various shows yesterday. Had a good conversation with Rich Eisen, and of course, a lot of the talk is, what are the Bears going to do with the number 1 pick? There are some loose trade rumors around Fields. Could the Bears fall in love with the draft QB prospect? So let's kind of dive into some of this here. Here's what Justin Fields said about some of the trade talks that are floating out there. He says, how I look at it is just controlling the controllables. No matter what happens with me, I can control what I can control, and that's how I approach the game. That's how I train for the game and how I carry myself within the game. I really do encourage you guys to go listen to how he sounded and how he addressed these questions, because these were not easy questions to answer for Justin Fields. He also said that when asked by Rich Eisen if he's had any talks directly with Ryan Poles or the organization about, you know, what their plans are with the number 1 pick or at quarterback. And he said those conversations haven't been had. Again, just got to control what I can control, and that is focus on being a better player in 2023. So before we continue this part of the conversation, will Justin Fields be the Bears starting quarterback next year in 2023? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I firmly believe that he will, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Now, he was also asked if he feels like he's proven enough to be worthy of just being guaranteed that starter for this next season, and I thought this was a really humble answer. He says, I think I've shown a little bit, but I don't think I've shown the world what I can do in terms of playing the full quarterback position and playing it consistently. I think there were some times this year when I was better than other times, like my last game of the season against the Lions. That wasn't a good game, so just being more consistent for my teammates, for my coaches, for the fan base. Once I do that, once I keep progressing and keep getting better, then I'll be good. He really pointed to another thing, too, in terms of X's and O's, the short game passing accuracy and quick decision-making, and I do think that is an area that he needs to work on. Here's what I'll say. I think the Bears would be insane to trade him right now because you have so many needs. Drafting a quarterback at number 1 doesn't solve all of your other problems. You still have an entire defensive line that needs 4 new starters. You need 3 new starting offensive line at least. You need 1 to 2 playmakers at wide receiver. You need a cornerback. You need a couple linebackers. You have so many needs on this roster. Now, that doesn't guarantee yourself that you're going to get the trade offer you want with the number 1 pick, but resetting at quarterback just doesn't make sense right now for where Chicago is, and Fields showed enough to me that warrants giving him another year and building around him and continuing to see what he can do. Obviously, the passing volume is going to have to go up. You can't throw for 2,300 yards in the NFL and expect to have sustained success. But you don't trade a quarterback in his second year that was second all-time in single-season rushing, broke the single-game rushing record set by Michael Vick. You don't just run away from that 2 years in. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think deep down Justin probably knows that he is the quarterback. But at the same time, if you're the Chicago Bears, you have to keep that kind of aura around you that you are interested in some of these draft quarterbacks, because guess what? If you come out public and say there's no chance for drafting a quarterback, that lowers the value of the number 1 pick, because a team like the Houston Texans sitting at number 2 could just be like, oh, well, the Bears aren't a threat to draft a quarterback, so if they don't trade with another team, we'll just hang out at number 2. That's my take. I think Justin Fields is the guy. The Bears need to make it clear that they at least could draft a quarterback. Don't be surprised if they work out Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis at some point in the draft process, and they should do that anyway. They should obviously do their due diligence, but I do expect Fields to be behind center throughout the 2023 season. Today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens, and look, it's been a long week here at Radio Row, a fun one, but getting up here on Friday, day 4, day 5 here, I needed that little extra boost, that extra energy. Luckily, with the free travel packs you get when you make your first purchase at athleticgreens.com/chatsports, had myself a scoop of AG1. And listen, I've been having a scoop of AG1 every day for the past 3 or 4 weeks now, and I've never felt better. I've never felt more energetic. They've helped me get through this final stretch of football season and keep my energy up for you guys, hopefully bringing you guys some entertaining content. I encourage you guys to go check out Athletic Greens, athleticgreens.com/chatsports. One scoop a day is going to help promote your gut health. It's going to support your immunity. And like I said, give you that energy that you absolutely need. If you're looking to improve your life in those areas, go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That link will be in the description and the comments of this video. Again, you get 5 free travel packs plus a year's worth of free vitamin D supply. It's a very, very good deal, and it's less than $3 per day. Go check it out, athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Link in the description and in the comments. Let's shift the conversation to Chase Claypool here, as he hopped on a couple podcasts this week and, basically said, look, this is the biggest offseason of my career. Those are his words, and said he wants to become a leader for this Bears football team. Obviously, a lot's been made about that trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers. One, considering the Bears ended up with the number 1 pick, that you lost the number 1 pick in the second round as well. So the number 32 overall pick going to Pittsburgh through 3 seasons. He's certainly flashed big-time potential, right? His first 2 years, I liked him a lot, and I still like him. I think it takes time to get a receiver in on the fly and gel with the quarterback, especially a young quarterback who's still trying to figure things out himself. I fully expect Fields and Claypool to sync up this offseason and put that work in. We saw Fields, Kmet, and Mooney sync up a lot this last offseason. I think Claypool's got to be in there doing that as well. But Claypool, he's starting to kind of recognize, hey, like, I'm entering the last year of my rookie deal. If I want a big contract, if the Bears want to commit to me long term, I gotta step it up both as a leader and as a player in terms of production on the field. Before we get to an interesting conversation around Chase Claypool, do you believe in Chase Claypool? Obviously, it didn't look great after the trade, but I think after a full offseason, it could look a lot better. Type B for believe or type D for don't. Let us know your thoughts on the young wide receiver. Now, I had a chance to sit down with Hines Ward, former Steelers wide receiver, via Zoom as a part of our coverage this week. He was gracious enough to join us. Obviously, he is a Steelers legend, watches the Steelers up close a lot still. He's actually a head coach in the XFL, gearing up for that. But he had some thoughts on Chase Claypool, how he could fit in Chicago, and he was a little bit honest, brutally honest, about what he thinks about Claypool in an area he really needs to improve on, not necessarily on the field. Here's the Steelers wide receiver weighing in on Chase Claypool. What type of player is Chicago getting in the young wide receiver as they try to build around their quarterback in Justin Fields?
Just from the outside looking in, very talented. Chase, his size alone, the speed, his catch radius, and his athleticism, you just like, man, you just open your mouth like, wow, like this kid has everything that you want in a wide receiver. Sometimes I think with Chase, it became more about Chase and less about the team. I've always believed that, the team comes first before any individual accolades or anything like that. And I think it's a little more of maturity level on his part. He needs to grow up a little bit. But I understand. I love receivers that want the ball. I don't want a receiver that don't want the ball, but you have to do it in the confinements of the aspect of the team. It's about the team first. And if you just keep working on your craft, you'll eventually get better. So things didn't work out in Pittsburgh, but he's still a talented wide receiver. And, hopefully with Justin Fields, who's a Georgia boy, man, I'm looking for big things out of Chase to be able to help him in his development and give him that playmaker that he needs on the outside for the Bears.
Appreciate Hines Ward once again for joining us this week at Radio Row. And listen, for Claypool, it's put up or shut up time, right? Like, if he says he wants to be a leader, go prove it. If he wants to produce more on the field, time to prove it. Sync up with your young quarterback, get those reps in, and have a big year in 2023, because if you don't, A, it's going to end up being a bad trade for the Bears, and B, you may not get the contract that you want. So the Bears need him to step up. He needs to step up for his own career. We'll see how things play out over the next few months leading up to 2023 training camp and, of course, the season. All right, let's end with Devin Hester. Put out a little short last night as he was not voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame for a second straight year. He'll have to wait for his third year of eligibility a year from now. Look, there's always going to be debate with these things, but to me, this is a big snubbing, and here's why. And it's easy for me to say as the host of a Chicago Bears YouTube channel, and I get all that, and people, not everyone's going to agree with me. Here's my opinion on the Hall of Fame, though. Number one, I think Hester should have been first ballot, and here's why. When you are the best at what you do in your sport and kind of change the game, because punters at one point stopped punting the football to this guy, they'd rather punt it out of bounds. That is worthy of Hall of Fame, of a Hall of Fame career. Obviously, outside of a return man, had limited success. 3,300 receiving yards. That's not nothing, but that's certainly, as a receiver, a very average career. 16 receiving touchdowns, but a record 14 punt return touchdowns, had 5 kick return touchdowns. He is simply the GOAT as a return specialist. If you are the best, I don't care what position you play, at what you do, you should be in the Hall of Fame. Justin Tucker, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. Adam Vinatieri, when he's eligible in a couple years, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You don't think Adam Vinatieri had vital success to multiple Super Bowl championships? Devin Hester in the 06 season when they went to the Super Bowl, they don't get there without him. Like, you think a Rex Grossman-led team got there by accident? No, they had a Hall of Fame defense, and Hester made impactful plays week in and week out on special teams. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I do expect him to get there one day, but I do think he's really been snubbed twice now. I almost get it for 1 year, but 2 years now, I'm not a fan of Hester not getting in. Type 23 if you think Devin Hester got snubbed, and if you're supporting his Hall of Fame candidacy. Hopefully next year is the year for the GOAT as a return specialist, one of my favorite players to watch in NFL history. All right, we're going to sign off here at Chicago Bears Now here in Phoenix, Arizona. Remember, subscribe and join us Tuesday because we crossed 60,000 subscribers. Live fan-led mock draft. You guys will make the picks. We'll have some fun with it, so join us then. We'll have some videos between now and then as well. I'm Harrison Graham signing off. We'll see you soon here at Bears Now.